and welcome to the Energy Talk podcast. My name is Olubumi Olajide. This is our first episode of our Campfire series, and for the next 8 weeks, we're going to be interviewing young people around the world doing interesting projects in the energy industry. The purpose of these interviews is to get us a better understanding of what the listeners expect from us and what young people see as the major challenges in the energy industry and in the climate space as well. So we hope by listening to this, you get a better understanding of what the global conversation is like, and more importantly, by seeing the work that other young people are doing, we hope it inspires you as well to start something on your own. And just as an update for season 3, we're currently putting in our calendars to start at the first week of September. So that's when we are hoping to start season 3. A few more things are still in place that we're trying to sort out. And we hope to make some interesting announcements very soon to make sure you guys know what's going on. And for the first of our conversations, we are starting out with the student energy chapter at the University of Port Harcourt. That is in Nigeria for those who don't know. And we're going to be talking about how they're developing their energy literacy program and how this program has been affected by the COVID-19 outbreak and how they are adjusting and what the future plans is for their project. First things first, let's start with introductions.
Okay, well, simply I'm Winner Godson, a year 4 student of mechanical engineering at the University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria, with an interest in the energy and environmental sectors. So I wish to implement technology, green technology, that will in no way harm the environment and at the same time still meet the high energy needs that we really require for industrialization.
So my name is Alera Wani, fourth year mechanical engineering student, the vice president of the student energy chapter at the University of Port Harcourt. And I have interest in programming and energy too. I heard about student energy in school from one of my friends. Then I attended the meeting. And I think before that, I wasn't too concerned about energy and anything about that. But after attending the meeting, it was really interesting. And my curiosity came up and I decided to continue with it.
All right. So, well, an energy enthusiast. So one day on our WhatsApp group, school WhatsApp group, I just saw a link to join a WhatsApp group, another student energy WhatsApp group. I say, oh, let me just try what's inside there. So I entered, typed quite a lengthy post, then started attending the lectures. Then I became the secretary. Now I'm the secretary.
Just for a bit of context, Nigeria is the largest oil-producing nation in the whole of Africa, and it's said to be one of the largest natural gas producers as well, as the industry transitions towards a low-carbon energy, which in the case of the fossil fuel industry is natural gas. And since the oil industry has a very large influence on how people think about energy in Nigeria, I took the opportunity to ask Winner and Alero just how much it influenced them when they thought about energy and if that was something they were actively working towards to get into the oil and gas industry.
Let me start off. Mine is kind of different. Not that I don't work in an oil and gas firm, but from young, I've really wanted to get energy and meet high energy demands that, will I say, as I said earlier, friendly, environmentally friendly. So it's just, if I'm going to work for the oil and gas, it's just for experience, the good pay. And apart from that, I would like to have my own firm, apart from the oil and gas, where we'll work on, for me, I want to work on mechanically generated energy, like generators, but with no combustion at all, something like that. But the problem is to meet the high energy needs without combustion. It's tasking and it's not, will I say, reliable. So that's what I really want to work on. That's my, will I say, my interest now in energy, not really because of the oil and gas sector.
Okay, so to be very honest, I right from the start, I did not really have any interest in energy, even in the oil and gas sector, whether it's for the money or for anything. But learning more, I realized that energy is something that's very essential because as a person, I feel there are some things everybody should know about, and energy is one of them. Energy and programming, because I feel they are very, very essential things. So that's one of the things that brought me here. So apart from that, I don't really have any interest working in the oil and gas sector.
Now that we know Winner and Alero a bit better, my next question to them was why they chose to develop a project in energy literacy, what motivated their decision, and what they were hoping to achieve at the start of their project.
We saw something, a little problem, that not too many people comparably making good enough changes in the energy sector. So even if people are making it, you don't really hear about it. So it's, if people are doing it or people are making changes, it's something we don't really know about, or let's say not many people are making changes, good enough changes in the energy sector. So which is born out of the fact that people have little or no knowledge about the energy sector, or how and where to make energy, or how and where to make good changes in the energy sector. So it brought about a need to tell students, because it's kind of a reach out to students in secondary schools. So we thought about it and say, why don't we create a reach out to secondary school students and tell them that there's an energy sector you can actually work in. So, which has different categories, different parts, from energy technology to advocacy to policy to curing the energy poverty. So that's what kind of brought about the project.
Before now, we had a lot of plans in place, but the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, so what we did was we decided to involve the student energy chapter in this project. So we divided everyone into teams. We divided in, let's say, sponsorship, contacts, project team, content creation team, etc. So during this lockdown, we decided to make things work virtually, although it hasn't really been working out well for us because of the lack of engagement from the student energy members. So there has been kind of a pause on our activities for now. We're trying to see if we can maybe shift things from a physical meeting, that's going to the schools to talk to the students, and make things virtual, if maybe things can work out like that.
Uh, well, actually, the problem started since not many people from the chapter, especially online, participated. So we have like quite a number of people on our WhatsApp group online, but when it comes to attending class, it's only just a handful of them, a little of them, a few of them attend. So what we post on the project for now is to cure the membership problem. So we are kind of doing a formal registration process. Actually, we didn't really have a formal registration process earlier. Just if you wanted to be part of us, you start attending classes, and you're our member. So, but now because of the virtual engagement, because before we could get things done because we had classes, we could check up our progress, and we could see people, talk to people, we could argue, debate, and get things finalized. But now that you can't, if someone is not online, or if he doesn't have data or electricity or something, you planning is cut short. So We are currently we're working on the membership recruitment, which by God's grace will be done this month. Then before the end of the month, we'll head on fully to the project. And we were thinking about what, as Alera said, instead of going out to schools again, we can do that after the pandemic. We are thinking of creating like something like an e-magazine, like the literacy and awareness, an energy literacy and awareness magazine for students, which we can, it to be an e-magazine for now, but maybe after the pandemic, we can get it printed. So, and maybe published printed. So, well, coming to your question, I jumped your question, forgive me, about the people not getting engaged. Apart from that problem that we had just had loads of students who were not engaged from the start. I think, as you said, people don't really know what the energy system entails. So you get people asking, we don't really know what you do, or because they realize I've not really taken the time to pay attention, and it's not something that they realize they could just see at the surface what we do and understand everything about the energy system. Because the energy system is, in a way, is vast, because from the technology, advocacy, relations with the environment, and the rest. So people have not really. So that's the thing. So what we want to do is not only engage them in our projects, but get them interested in energy, because once they're interested in this energy talk, in the energy system, in things about energy, we'll not have to force them to be part of anything we are doing. They will even come up with great ideas, because many people are great people. It's just maybe we have not been able to harness their potential. So I believe it's just to get them interested, spark up their initiative, then I think they will put all their efforts in it.
Winner and Alero did a very good job about pinpointing the areas they needed to improve for their projects. And of course, they are in an unfortunate situation where they have to transition a lot of their plans very quickly. But a lot of the problems they face is something that is very common in the energy space in general. Winner went on to talk about how they're trying to introduce some skill acquisition programs to balance out their multidisciplinary member base. And this is extremely difficult in a university setting when trying to connect people from different departments. And from the energy standpoint, when you have to explain complex topics and also have people engaged with what you're talking about, is a consistent challenge we try to solve, especially on this podcast where all we do is talk about energy. And as we went further on in the conversation, I asked Winner and Alero about what they thought were the most challenging things about energy and what they wanted to learn more about and what areas they wanted to focus on. And Winner and Alero went on to say this.
Well, for me, in my maybe in my what I want to specialize on, I actually want to specialize on the energy technology. Then why I say energy is vast is because when you're talking about energy, you don't just talk about the technology. You need to talk also about the advocacy, the policy. Someone also said energy justice and the rest, which some people may not look into. They just look into parts. Like I want to go into energy technology, then but I may need to advocate for my energy technology or for a green energy technology. So when I say energy is vast, is because most times for you to really get a notable change in the sector, you need to take two parts of the energy with you, like energy technology and energy advocacy, or energy advocacy and energy policy, or energy poverty and energy justice. So you carry the two parts to make what you really want effective. So that's why I kind of say energy is vast. And when you talk about the energy technology, you still have solar, you have wind, you have geothermal, nuclear, you have wave energy. So it's something you now specialize on, except you want to be a master of all the trades.
Okay, so you said something about which part is the hardest to explain to people. So the part I've been focusing on is the energy transition as a whole, because yeah, I've been listening to some of your podcasts, and it's like you said before, it's a very complex topic. So sometimes I talk to somebody, and after talking to the person, I change my mind, and then I talk to another person and I change my mind, because everybody has different opinions on what the energy transition in Nigeria should look like. So I think for me, that's one thing I'm trying to get more knowledge on, so I'll be able to explain it to people better.
I want to thank Winner and Alero for being part of this interview series. As I said in the beginning, the primary purpose of this is for us to determine what people want to learn about and help us improve for season 3 of the podcast. And I chose this format because it's a good way to keep the responses a bit more concise, because the actual interview was more conversational and it's not easily digestible in the format it was originally recorded at. So that's why I chose this format. I hope you're able to follow along, and I hope there weren't too many breaks that broke your way from the conversation. And I hope you also learned something quite important from this interview, because if you're going to compare notes, and if you've been thinking about how you can improve your own project, or just curiosity even, the challenges that Win and Alero face in the project are two main ones. Number one is, how do you explain really complex topics in a way people can easily understand and relate to? And the second one is, how do you make the group that you're trying to teach, how do you make them engage, and how do you encourage them to go further with their learning and develop their own projects and go out to learn new things that are not in the scope of what you're trying to teach them? So it's just really about the energy industry, or the energy transition, or the energy systems, whatever you want to call it, being a really vast and complex topics. It has a lot of moving parts, and to really learn about it, you really have to devote a lot of time into it, or you have to work on the presentation. So those were the two main takeaways I got from this interview. I'm curious if you learned anything different from what I got out of it. You can email us or DM us on Twitter and on Instagram at The Energy Talk. Don't forget to leave a rating or review, and we'll be back on the next episode. We'll be going all the way to Bolivia for the next Campfire series episode. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful week.